Well, we're back at it, everyone. You know, it's this time of year. We're still into August, but I have to go once to an area that produces some good acorns periodically. 2 years ago, I found this area, and it was pretty good. It produced quite a bit on these big oaks. These are my buddies right here, boy, I tell you. And last year, nothing. So this year, I just came in here now, and I've never hunted this area, but I always wanted to check it over seriously. And as I'm looking, here, I got acorns right here coming out, you know. Now, the thing is, we may have a problem in some areas, like here too. It's been so dry that prematurely they will drop some of their acorns, and it's tough for some of those to ripen in the future. But I've noticed they've been holding pretty good in this area. I'll tell you the truth, it's hard to find a healthy oak stand up in the North Woods. It really is. And as you get north, it's tougher yet. This may be comprised of maybe 40 acres, 40, 50 acres, mixed in with the maples, as you can see. But it's been sort of cool, unique situation because of the fact, years ago, if you can see way in the background, they lobbed it and nothing materialized other than woody stem. The browse in there is unbelievable. The woody stem coat is incredible. Raspberries and blackberries, and then also grasses. So what's happening here is I'm checking these oaks to see how they're doing, because these deer eventually, if it looks good, they might come in here to feed like they did a couple years ago. Now the thing is, we have just our red oak up here. A lot of you people in other parts of the United States, they have the white oak, which actually tastes better. We all know that, to deer versus this one. This guy, this red oak's pretty high in tannic acid. The tannins in here though, it's sort of unique in its own way. They actually, on these oaks, they will protect. It's almost like a defense against infestations of insects and fungus. You know, so it works in a positive point also to these oaks. And another thing is that these guys that we have up here, the deer know it. These are higher in fat content and carbs, vitamins, protein than they are in a white oak, believe it or not. You can look it up if you don't believe me. But the white oak tastes better. But they know this is all they have. I mean, guys, if you have a healthy oak stand, there is no egg crops. This is corn, alfalfa, everything, soybeans, all in one. That's all we look at. We talk about it every day up here, is there going to be acorns? Because if there is, that's one crop they can feed on. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting in here and I'm getting out. I could see some acorns dropping in that a little bit, and I could see them up there. So it looks like we might have an average year. But the thing that I want to look at basically is, okay, if that's the case, how are you going to hunt this? You know, it's feast or famine when it comes to what we have for acorns. If there's acorn, they're going to be here. No doubt about it. They'll come from all over. So there is many ways you can hunt this. A lot of guys enjoy just being up here, chasing the acorns is what we call it. They will go from tree to tree, hunt from tree to tree as the acorns are dropping. And then they'll be there, and all of a sudden, though, the deer might be in a couple trees over. You never know. Everybody hunts different. I don't hunt that way. I want to look for where they're coming in at. If there's bucks, any capabilities of bucks entering into this area. Now, I did drop a camera. We're going to go look, and I'll show you what we have on there, okay? I dropped it last spring, and I just left it here, way on the east end of this. So there's an entrance there, and there's an entrance over here. I'm going to show you right now. We're going to go in there and see if we can come up with a plan here on how these deer are going to enter this, especially bucks. What are they doing? You know, they're just not marching up here all of a sudden. We got to look for some cover, because obviously, as you can see, this is so open. But a lot of oak stands are like that. They come in here at night, you know. That's basically how it works, generally speaking. But once they're ripe like this, they're going to be pounding it. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to look at both ends of this place and see if there's any place that makes sense on where I can put my little ground blind, where I can sit under trees. Okay? Let's go take a look and see what we got. Okay, guys, I'm at the highest point of this little narrow swath of oaks. You can see over there where they cut years ago. This is the highest point, right through here. See through here. I'm just showing you an overview of what we're dealing with. And then it drops down again. And that's about it. Goes up in there. Now, what I'm noticing at the highest point, common sense, you know, you got your families of deer. And, you know, right up here in the grasses, you'll see beds. you know, different various beds here and there. Now, the point is, I have an east side over there where the sun is. It's early morning. You can see the east side over there. I have a camera over there because there's deer from way over coming through and coming up through this way. My finger's in a way. They come up through there. Now, the west side has got my curiosity. See where it gets thick down there in the bottom? I'm thinking bucks are staging down there if they come up from the north end. The north end up there scatters up into the hills for bedding. That's basically it. So I'm not going to play games up there. I have to get them coming through here in the evening. That's my only hope. They're coming in through there, I think, and then coming up to feed up in the oaks itself. So what we're going to do, now they have a choice. When they go through there, they come up through that bottom up through there. They can either go into the field or they come up through here into the oaks. So they got a choice, but they're hiding down here checking with what the does are doing up here. I'm sure they are. So let's go down there. I want to take a look at that and see what we got cooking. There any sign? Okay, I'm on top here. I'm just coming down. I'm working towards a very corner that cut over and the oak stand itself. Just want to come down and getting into that thick stuff that I showed you. I'm on the very west end. Just checking to see what we have going here. If there's any entrances where any bucks, what have you, would come through. I see something. I see a lot more activity. Trails coming out of there naturally, going into the oaks. It's pretty common. Most of us see that. I want to get down in that thick stuff. I'm sure something stages down there before they enter. Now see here. You can see where he comes up through there, or somebody does. See a little activity. It's so typical of what they do in these areas. Now here, look at this. Now remember, they exited the field. Sure enough, look at this trail. And they're heading into the oaks. Okay, pretty obvious. Pretty obvious so far that this corner is pretty hot. Which is primarily where you like to be if you're going to use a feeding area for hunting. I don't do too many of them, but this one I'm going to try as just a feeding area, not the bedding. Trouble is, at times they may come late in the evening. That's why you got to back up a little bit as much as you can. I'm looking to see if there's any entrances where a buck would travel through here. There's a couple trails I see coming through. It's getting thicker if you notice. Coming through. Let's go down a little ways and see. Okay, I'm getting more into the thicker brush a little bit. I see there's a corner again up on top, and it goes up, and it goes up into the oaks. All up in there. So I'm thinking usually, when I've hunted areas like this before, they usually stage down here in this area. But where does he come out? If there would be one. I see this old, look at this old lane. Possibility. Sure, now the trail gets a little heavier here. I'm starting to see some old rubs. As we go. Sure enough, look at this. See how it just progresses slow but sure? They're using this little lane, and look where they're at. See where he's totally concealed in here. And as he comes up, look, I'll show you what he's looking at. There's your oak stand up there. So he's just hanging around this area, if there is one working. There's a lot of historical rubs in this area, so this looks pretty good. I like this west side. And here, old scrape, he's working over there. Typical buck trail. They like some of these old lanes sometimes. Sure enough, look at this. And he's just following this bottom, like saddles, they come through. You hear that time and time again. They love traveling it. Here's another old broken branch. Here's an old scrape here. Old rubs right there. Oh, sure enough, this is pretty common of what you may see in some of these low areas like this. Now see, all I'm doing, hills up there, down in the bottom here, a narrow bottom. There's your opening up there. And once again, there's your oaks up there. That's what he's doing, coming through here. Now we'll terminate up here, see what's going on, see if there's anything going across into the field. Now sometimes they make a decisive decision here on which way to go at this point. Okay guys, we were just over there. There's that trail that we were just walking on, a couple scrapes, going up into the oaks. I'm at the end here, and I can see where he goes up into the, sorry about that, he goes up into those hills, okay? Comes back down. Now, here's what's interesting. You could see his trail, him or they or whoever. There's a trail going out directly up into the opening, or over there where we were. Now this trail here, we're going to take this and see where this is pretty defined. Grasses, ferns are broken down. See that trail right there? Look at that. So he's taking a pick, either there or up on that trail that goes up into the oaks itself. So let's see what happens here. Oh, this is solid. Look at this trail. Very nice. Well, need I go any farther? No. It's going up. You can see it going right up, and it goes right up into the field itself for his browse, getting all that and coming over to the oaks itself. So we got this little circle tied in on the west side here. Okay? That makes sense. This is nice. Boy, it's used quite a bit. Really going up. Maybe he's going up there first, you know. Either way, there's both trails. So now, you saw that. That's the west side here. Not much more I can do on this side other than find a place to bury in where I want to hunt itself. Now that's north up in that area. So I got to get down here out to the south side and catch them both ways. So I can get in between here, and I think I can find a spot against the tree underneath here somewhere. I want to stay in this little area right here because this is where he's going to meet. He's going to decide, should I go to the south or should I go to the east and go up into the opening? It's very, very obvious what we got going here. I think what I'll do, see now there's, the trail was up through there, going up into the oaks, and this one goes up into the opening. If I can kill two birds, one stone, I can bury up in that area, right up in there. Okay. And I can take my pick. I can get a broadside here and I get a broadside there, because nothing seems to be up in that area. They're going in that direction, heading up. I think that's what I'll do. Okay, now we got that side covered here on the west side. Let's go to the east side once. Okay, I'm coming down to the east side. Now, as you can see, there again, there is a brushy area down there too on the east side. There's your opening. There's the whole picture of the oak stand. And we were way over just now on the west side, on the other end, where it was brushy. Okay, so we're going to check this out over here. Now, believe it or not, down in that bottom, I have a camera and a licking branch down there. We're going to check that out and I'll show you what we got on there. Because they're coming, these deer are coming from way across. You can see the woods over in that area. It just ventures out and they're coming through here, coming up into this area. So let's go check that out. Maybe I can find a spot in that area. Now there's where we just were, up in that area, the oak stand area. I came back down to the east side here and see this little brushy, more or less like an oasis type thing. And there's my licking branch right there. Let's see what they're doing to the bottom. Looks pretty good. We'll check the camera and see what we have on there. But what I like about this down here, they either come from up over in the hills, they come right through here and check out the licking branch, or they're coming from way over, coming around right through here, and they're going up into the stand, up in there. So I like this area too. I really do. On this east end, because then they can work the westerlies, northwesterly winds coming over here. So that's a different kind of situation over there. That's different animals. That's different buck coming over from that area. And these are different ones coming from this area. And they're all meeting in this, 40 acres of acorns, of healthy oaks. So we'll see from there, okay? I'm going to check one more spot here, see where we can find a blind area. Okay, there's where my licking branch is, right over there. See, it's a little pocket. I notice what they do. They come down through those hills. This is on the east side now, mind you. They're wrapping around, checking it, walking through, and heading up into, there's that oak stand that we were just at. I like right in this area. I want to stay low because also there's west, northwest. I want that coming at me. And they're right out in front there. I'll have my ground blind with my artificial limbs and what have you. I'll nestle against one of these trees here. And that gives me about a 25-yard shot max with my recurve. That should be fine. So we're going to take it from there, guys. So, nice and quick. Not much to say about when you have a healthy oak stand like that. The only thing is, up here, they're worth gold. Many other areas, there's so much of it, it's probably a lot tougher. But when you find one little section like this, you better pursue it and pursue it hard if there's acorns. If there isn't, like last year, I tried, there wasn't a deer around. It was a ghost town. There wasn't one acorn, and they didn't come around. So we will find out. Now, this will probably be my first spot for the year. It's right in this area. Because let's face it, guys, we all know in September when those acorns are dropping, the bucks themselves to our home. You got to remember one thing, guys. These bucks right now, they're starving. You don't realize how much calcium and phosphorus it takes to build those antlers. My gosh, if you don't have the proper fertilizer in the soils itself, the proper nutrients, they're taken out of their skeletal system to produce those antlers. They're starving right now. They really are. People don't realize that. And there isn't much ground food. A lot of the understory is dried off. Acorns aren't ready. And things like this. It berries, a lot of the woody browse isn't ready for the tops for them to feed on. It's tough right now. People don't realize it. And they have to build up their strength for in a couple weeks when they shed their velvet, then they're going to start fighting. So they have to build their strength up in the next 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, give or take. And that's no matter where you're at. So just keep that in mind, guys. Look for where you think they're going to feed, because they're feeding up, and we're starting to see more bucks out now. And that's why. Okay? Hey, thanks for watching this little bit. Take care. I'll see you.